What's up? So, uh, when you get into your assignment, you're gonna have a problem that's different from mine, but you can click into a problem now, and we're gonna actually do a problem. I say together, but in reality, again, we're doing completely separate problems. And if you don't want to do one of yours, you can just follow along with me. But I'll kind of bring your attention to the part where I was wrong earlier, and I'm not going to let it happen again. So, first thing we notice is that down here below the table, and your table is going to be different, is that there's one that's going to save us a ton of time, and it's this button that says copy values for calculator. That's a mega time saver. The thing is, when you click it, nothing happens. Okay, so don't expect anything to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in there. We copied the values, and now we're going to open the statistics calculator. And then right here, there's a button that says paste values. If you click that, it fills the values in for you from the table. If for some masochistic reason you feel like you want to do that yourself, you of course can. Like we did in our first example there a little bit ago. You can manually type in any X's and Y's you want, but that'll save you some time. Everybody okay so far? Okay, what we're going to do at this point now is we're gonna go up to the top and we're going to go to the calc menu again, and we're going to choose from the submenu quadratic regression. The calculator is going to do its best, and I say best because it is not perfect. It's going to do its best to give us literally mathematically the best approximated equation of a parabola that best represents these points, the 6 points or whatever were in the table there that I just did. So I'm going to go to quadratic regression and I'm going to hit calculate. Now you'll notice that my numbers have a lot of decimal points. And if you're staring at your screen, this is the part where I really, really need you for a couple minutes. Don't race me or anything because there's no homework tonight. There's no deadline. Just follow along. What happens is it's giving me very, very accurate A, B, and C values. It's telling me that if you really want to get as solid of an equation as you can, you're going to start with y equals negative 14.56953642338 x squared. And then you're going to put plus 92.933515853 x. This is the part where it is incumbent upon you to go and read the problem. Delta Math opens a separate tab for the calculator, so you don't need to hit like a back button. You're going to go to the other Delta Math tab, and it's going to take you back to the problem. What I know from earlier today is that some of the times this word right here will be hundredth, and some of the times it will be tenth. I haven't seen anything for this part of the problem other than that, but who knows? I'll be surprised. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a note card, and you could do this just on a piece of notebook paper. And I'm going to take those, I'm going to go back to my regression calculator, and I'm going to write down all the numbers rounded to 2 decimal places because that's what the nearest hundredth is. And you can help me. This is a good time for us to talk about rounding. It's amazing how often little dumb things like rounding can be a deal breaker. So for me personally, if you'd be so kind, indulge me here. What is my A value? Negative 14.57. I'm not quite to the part that I messed up earlier, so hang with me. What is my B value? 92.93. And what is my C value? Any questions about that? If it said round to the nearest tenth, I would obviously have different answers, like numerically different, but I mean, quantitatively like similar, right? So I'm going to go back to my other tab now. And down here in this box, it says regression equation. I can tell you at least 2 people earlier missed this because they didn't type in y equals. So y equals, you started like that. And I'm going to type in negative 14.57 x squared. And then I'm going to arrow forward to drop back down. And then I'm going to type in plus 92.93 x. And then I'm going to type in plus 1.37. Do you have any questions about that? Here comes my mess up. So take your faces out of those screens for a minute. And if I fell for it, then there's a decent chance that you would fall for it too. Going back to the calculator, there's this amazing button that it turns out we're not allowed to use. And I don't know why they would do this to us, to me. But here's the deal. If I go back to the problem, it very clearly at the end says, find the height to the nearest whole foot at a time of 5.5 seconds. So all I have to do is go to this box and type in 5.5 for my X and hit evaluate. And it gives me 71.775. So my answer is 72. And that is how I taught the lesson today. And then two guys, I shouldn't use their names because I put this stuff on YouTube, but two young men from first hour came to me with their computer. And I was like, I figured it would be something stupid, like they rounded something wrong. It wasn't. It's this. Listen carefully. When you use this button, Delta Math is putting 5.5 into.
They're saying 5.5 equals those.
No, I want to be clear. We want to know the Y value when X equals 5.5, because that is what my problem said. I'll show you again. It said, find the height when X is 5.5. Are we clear? But what, and I ask myself, why give me this button if I'm not allowed to use it? If I put 5.5 in here, I'm thinking, oh, this is nice. They're just doing the work for me. Here's the trouble. Delta Math is putting 5.5 into this equation. Y equals negative 14.569536423 times X squared. Are you with me? Plus 92.9335158.533 X plus 1.3687890784. I'll be honest with you. I'm surprised it took as far into class as it did before someone pointed out that, hey, I'm getting one wrong and I don't know why. And I didn't know why. They didn't know why. This is why. One word. One word. That one. I know that seems small. They should put that in 38-point bold, underlined, italicized font. I'm going to write them a letter and request that they do this. What are they trying to get me to do? They want me to put 5.5 in place of X in my equation, but the computer won't do it for me. The computer plugs it into the unrounded OG equation that turns out isn't of any use to us. So what I'm going to say to you is you have to bust out a calculator in a case like this, because it says using this equation, not the one that the computer gave me with those long A, B, and C, using the equation that you created. So I'm going to go back to this other screen and show you what Delta Math really wants us to do. It wants us to do Y equals, here it goes, negative 14.57 times X squared. You see, plus 92.93 times X plus 1.37. Do you think it makes a difference? It makes more of a difference than you might think. And that's on me. Like, I know that they are different, but I just thought that the computer that had the button there so that I could use it. Turns out, pranks on us. No, with this particular assignment, this calculator is not quite fine-tuned in the way that maybe if I worked there, I might change it a little bit. But in this case, what I'm saying to you is stay away from that button. And honestly, 75-ish% of the time, for some odd reason, it's going to work fine. Because in the end, if you round up one number and round down another one and the other one's pretty close, it winds up really being the same-ish. But it took a while until those guys pointed one out where it really just is different. And they got it wrong, and now we know why. So when you plug in your X value, you can't use the evaluate button to do it, because it's going to put it in the wrong equation. You got it. So what I would do is type it in to my calculator like this. The purple on the board I would type in, and whatever it comes out on my calculator, that's what I would type into this box right here. Got it? Why don't you try a problem or two and let me see what I messed up this time? Let's see if we can get a couple problems done and see if this went a little bit better than it did earlier today. Any questions about what we're doing?
So how was that?
I have 15 kids in first hour, 14 of whom are present today, I think, or 13. And not one time, and we did this for like 15 minutes. It took 12 minutes until someone finally found one where the button answer and the calculator answer were actually different. I didn't even tell them to do it on a calculator because I thought the computer would just do it all. And then those guys brought it up and I was like, it really is different. So, moral of the story, at the end of the problem, put X into your rounded equation.
So how is this wrong?
Now begins the fun part of figuring out as you miss problems why you're missing them. I'm going to stop recording because I'm going to bring up like information and stuff. So.